try to get some more done in the garage today. We've got Sid the Science Kid on TV. Harper's on the other side over there, probably running over here right this second because she hears me. There you go. See? That's what she does to me, y'all. That's what she does to me. She don't want me to film. When the camera comes out, she starts yelling. Harper, what are we doing? So we're trying to figure out what all sensors we need and everything. Yeah. Why are you hitting me? I'm just as frustrated as you are. I hate wiring stuff in sensors. Alright, so we got in an order from TKM. Some more stuff I put in the order, but look at this crap. This is how I get treated, man. But they tell you to shop local, and when you shop local, this is how you get treated. Man, when I order off eBay, I don't get derogatory remarks on my packages. I'm just messing with them guys up there. They mess with me because they know that I'm not on the LS bandwagon. Us Coyote guys, you know, we're not interested in having any money at all. We like to stay broke. So I ordered some more of the burn down hose to finish out what we had. So there's more tube. That way we can finish what we were short. So got the tube in, so shout out to them. If you need anything from TKM or if you need burn down hose like this, I ran a little short, give them a call. If you want to ask for Skinny, he's the one who handles all my orders, and he can get you hooked up with exactly what I got. So shout out to them, I greatly appreciate it. Got in some t-shirts also. You know, you got to have them, and some decals to keep representing. So I try to keep advertising for them as much as I can. I greatly appreciate everything they do. I'm about to show you some changes that we have done, or I always say we. I guess when I say we, I'm talking about y'all. I'll go ahead and include y'all because I'm here working by myself as always. Made some changes that I didn't think I would make, but it's working out perfect now. Greatly appreciate everything that y'all have commented on the last one where we talked about AN fittings. And what else did we talk about? Oh, the Chevy water pump. Y'all greatly helped me tremendously. I greatly appreciate every single one of y'all. Everybody's been putting, a couple of different feedbacks in on the video, and it's just helped a ton. In the comments, we were talking about the different AN stuff, and then we were also talking about the fuel pressure regulator. I had no clue, y'all, that I needed a boost reference fuel pressure regulator. So now I know, due to y'all in the comments, that I'm going to have to sell the fuel pressure regulator that I actually have already bought and get a fuel pressure regulator that has boost reference. So y'all keep in mind that I'm a fab guy. I can build pretty much anything that you want and make it look good for cheap. But when it comes to that motor, I need y'all's help or other people's help because I'm completely clueless. I've never owned a drag car. I've never raced one. I've never built one. This is my first one. I've never had nothing like this. So this is all new. Having to, this step right here with trying to get the car to the running stage is really slowing me down due to my lack of knowledge. So it's really taking me a lot longer. Where some of y'all might go a little faster. So I got a board up on the wall. We did talk about that in the video. Got a dry erase board, got some doodles up there, and got a whole list of sensors. So there was some stuff on this motor that like I forgot that you even needed. I don't necessarily can just give you a list of sensors that it takes to run a motor right off the top of my head. I can give you the basics, but then I get confused where being this is kind of a drag car, and it's running off a Holly, what I need, what I don't need. So it looks like I'm gonna be shooting TKM Kevin up there a message on email with technical questions of what sensors I need and where they need to go. So I've got questions like the mass airflow sensor. I kind of thought about it, but I kind of didn't think about it. So do I need it? Being I'm running a Holly Dominator, and where do I put it? I'm pretty sure I do need it, and I'm pretty sure I have already found the flange that you weld into the intercooler tubing, and I'm pretty sure it goes after the blow-off valve, before the throttle body. and you would just weld it into the piping. So I was reading some stuff where it says that it's nice to go in the intercooler because you get a more steady signal there. And if you go in the piping, they want like the honeycomb stuff. But other guys say that just welding it straight into the intercooler piping, blow through style, no honeycomb is perfectly fine. So I've got some technical questions like that. If y'all want to comment below and let me know what your opinions are on the mass airflow sensor, that would be awesome. But I'm also going to ask Kevin because he's going to be the one tuning the car. What I'm trying to avoid is whenever this thing goes to get put on the hub dyno up at TKM, I'm making a mistake and not having a sensor, not having it hooked right, not having it in the correct location, something like that. So I'm trying to avoid all that stuff. I also just shot Aeromotive a email. We talked about that in the last video in the comments about the fuel pressure regulator, the boost one. So I did ask for their recommendation because I did watch a couple videos. I do research, y'all. I don't, which I think y'all know, I don't just ask everybody to give me a handout for everything. Sometimes I lean a little guidance, you know, saying go this way. And then once you tell me to go that way, I can research that way. So I was, you know, learned about the boost reference. And I started watching some videos actually pretty late last night and realized that there's actually multiple fuel pressure regulators with boost reference. There's different kinds. So one of their videos said to message or call them and they can point you in the right direction of the correct ones you need. So that's what I did, being y'all recommended, you know, the Aeromotive brand. And they are a good brand. So, I mean, I do know that they're a good brand for that. Besides that, let's see here. Oh, and the secondary pump. So the pump I have right now, I'll flip it around and show you. So here's what I have right now is we have a hat style fuel pump, Aeromotive A1000, okay? This is gonna be your feed, and then your returns over here. The return is actually a 6AN. I was kind of surprised to see that. That is orange paint on my finger, by the way, and not blood or doo-doo or whatever it looks like. The feed line is a -10. I was actually surprised because I was shooting for a -12 feed and a -8 return. So that's fine. I'm going to neck this up to a -8 so that it matches the return. And I'm going to neck this up to a -12 probably so that everything's the same. This one I plan to use for just normal driving circumstances, not, you know, under boost. And then under boost, I plan to have a inline second fuel pump that kicks in whenever boost kicks in. The inline fuel pump, I plan to have it where it's triggered to kick on under boost. So I also got to figure out how to do that. I need to glue that back down. Basically, I'm still just working through all kinds of tiny stuff, man. Fittings galore. So that's on the fuel pump and that. And then let's see, I've got something underneath here missing. So there's the bottom of the car and the radiator is gone. So I had cut out the whole back of the car in an earlier video. You can go back and watch that if you hadn't seen it. So that to A, save weight, B, clean everything up so it's a little more simple than having the spare tire hump back here. But C, to put the radiator underneath the car for rear weight. So it is now been moved back up here. So here's a couple reasons why. A, because the lines that we were looking to go under the car with, an aluminum tube that is big enough to fit this, they did not have at the metal yard the other day. Stuff was really small, and they didn't have nothing that I really wanted. When you start looking Lowe's and Home Depot options or online for aluminum tube this size that will go right here over this, it adds up fast. You know, whether it's $40 plus shipping, you know, or $80 for a tube plus shipping, then you got to have two tubes, and then, you know, you're mounting them underneath the car, and then you have the AN lines, all of that. So when I started pricing all that, I was, you know, detoured from the aluminum tubes. And so then I went and priced rubber hose, started trying to price rubber hose. And that's when I realized, you know, that you got to have stuff, which I already knew. That's pretty basic. We all know that you have to have stuff that will hold the temperature of coolant and will hold the PSI of coolant, okay? So you have to have a hose that meets that stuff. A lot of hoses that you find for a little bit cheaper are not rated for the correct temperature. So they max out at like 152, 200, or even 125 degrees. And you probably want something that's safe up to 300 degrees. Obviously, you don't want the motor anything anywhere near that. But, on a bad situation, you could see 225, 250 on a motor and, on the coolant, and we don't want the line to be underrated. So the hoses kind of went out the window fast, and I decided that wasn't going to, work. And then the AN lines, man, they're just expensive no matter how you slice and dice it. So with all of that said, I decided to go ahead and put it back up here. We were at the racetrack and we were talking about cylinder placement. How normally, you would love to get your number one cylinder over your spindle line, being that number one cylinder, I'm all backwards, right here matches up, I'm all backwards, with your spindle line, okay? I've got mine close, but it's not quite. That's my spindle line right there, and then as you can see, I'm almost number one cylinder. I'm pretty close. Right there, and we come up, cut it through. So I'm pretty close, but not perfect. This is angled back some, so that's not a good representation. But we were talking how on the aluminum motors that it's actually a little different, that it's not so crucial. We were discussing at the track, a couple of us. That could be wrong information. It could be correct information. It makes sense. We're a little lighter. So of course you want the setback, but it's not as crucial. So with that being said, it kind of triggered my thoughts to be like, okay, well, we're saving some weight on having an aluminum motor versus a traditional. So therefore, let's just put some weight back on the nose, because if we had a steel motor, we'd have the extra weight anyway. So we have aluminum, weighs a little less. Let's just throw the radiator back on the nose. So that's pretty much, in my opinion, I could be wrong, that's pretty much the same, aluminum motor and radiator on the nose is, I would think, the same, if not less, than a traditional iron block motor with no radiator on the nose. So I decided to put it back up here for just to make it easier and save some money, less lines. Also, when you run all of them lines back to the back of the car and to the front of the car, that's extra weight, because that's extra coolant capacity, meaning extra water in the whole entire system, meaning more weight on the overall car. It is more towards the center, and then you have more with the radiator back, but you're still adding weight to the car. And I've been trying hard to watch this car's weight and keep this car on a diet, but still also keep it a street car that can be drove on the street, not a full-blown race car. Also not a bunch of titanium and all that crap, because I can't afford it, straight up. So I went ahead and mocked up where the water pump. Right now I have the water pump down here, and it is going to sit like that. I've got the face off of it, got the actual electric part out of it. So it'll sit down here and bolt to the rail with one of these. We'll weld a bracket on the back of it that will allow us to bolt it to that. So this piece goes to your lower radiator line. So all I'm thinking is, come down with an AN fitting up right here to the radiator, to the lower piece. And then these two, being I'm using a Chevy one, these would actually go into the motor normally. So we're going to do a -12 off of this, and it's going to route this way and shoot that way. And then if you come up top, you can see how I turned the other leg around on it. So I've got that leg pointed. Let me get a better angle. There we go. So we'll come off this leg and wrap the -12 around to here, and then we'll do a -12 off of here. So now we have two lines. We'll zip bind the two lines together, and then we'll come up here to our inlet that we built at the shop the other day. So this will have, two -12 bungs. So what will feed into the motor will be two -12s that are zip tied together around like that. And it works out perfect, works out on a budget for me. I ordered the lines last night for really cheap. I think they were, man, I don't even want to make something up. I think one was like $25 and one was like $18 or something. They weren't bad, plus shipping and all that. I think I was under like $60. I believe they're Brown and Miller golds, for two matching colors, blue and red. Just like, I kept the blue with all this so that everything would match. I don't like the blue, but since I'm using used, bakers can't be choosers. So that solved our problem with that. That connects there. This one right here. We've installed our I've got my piece sent here for mock-up. This will go to your inlet because coolant comes out of the motor over there. So that will go into the radiator right here, which won't be bad. Your lower line will come out of the radiator and go into the water pump, and then them two will feed into the engine. The only thing I have left is this fitting over here. This is a -12. Now, from the factory and its factory setup, this used to come out, go to your heater core, come back out, and it would actually tie into near the water pump. I will actually post a picture of the diagram on the screen right now. If you want to pause the video and look at it, you can. But we don't have that set up no more. So if you look at the electric water pump systems that you buy for the Coyote, what they do with that right here is they take it and they tee it into right here before it goes into the water pump. So it comes out of the motor and then they run it over and they tee it back into the inlet side of the water pump. If you look closely at that diagram, the diagram shows you the heater core, but I will show you now the diagram for the electric water pump. And if you notice, there will be two lines sticking straight up. Them two lines that go nowhere are, they technically go to your heater core. So if you wanted to pause that, you could take a look at that. So basically in that diagram, you have a line that comes up in front of the water pump that goes nowhere. And then you have a line off this head that comes up that goes nowhere. Them two are connected by the heater core. That's where the heater core is supposed to be, in that diagram. So the other diagram shows that water comes out of your head over here. And I actually did a terrible job up here, but basically our 20 AN fitting on our driver's side, which is right there. This is driver's side. It's got the big 20. Passenger side has the 12. So our 20 AN comes out of our motor and goes straight into our radiator, okay? And our 12 AN is supposed to come out and go into a T right here that feeds into the radiator. But you also have your lower radiator line, which is -20, that obviously goes into your water pump. So they put it into a T situation. Now, being we have a Chevy pump, I'm gonna have a -12 that will go out into the motor, and a -12 on this side that will go out into the motor. So our -12, I'm just gonna keep y'all in reference, -12 right here that went to the heater core. They want, on that one diagram, they show that, the electric water pump, if you buy a Davis Craig actual system, then they want your -12, they supply you with a T. So this inlet right here, this is a -20. They have a T fitting that they put this -12 into. So what that means, if I'm correct, is you have hot water coming out of your motor, and then they're shooting it into the T, into the water pump shooting it back into the motor, okay? Right here, it comes out again because it's not going to a heater core, so they're just shooting it right back into the water pump and then right back out because we have no heater core, where technically this would be your heater core, because this would like come out up here, go to a heater core over here, and then it would come back into the engine another way from the factory. Being I don't have a heater core, why am I know that the Davis Craig setup, it is catered towards, factory motor and using all the factory stuff, but I'm building this from scratch. Why would I route this -12 into the water pump and just cycle hot water, not hit the radiator? I'm wondering, and I'm starting to think, can I, my arrows also point in the direction of the water flow, in case y'all don't know what's going on. So couldn't we take and put a 12 AN bung right here and just take this and route this into the radiator like that? So now everything coming out of our motor is going into our radiator. Our -20 goes into the radiator, which is the main, return. And then the little -12 that used to go to the heater core, it goes into the radiator. And then we get rid of this line, okay? And then our radiator comes out cold, -20 into the water pump, shoots it in the motor. Both of these come out to the radiator and do that. Like, does that make sense to y'all? I'm thinking it would. Like, why would I mix in hot water, being I don't need a heater core? instead of running everything through the radiator, and instead of having T's and all that, I could just have 2 bungs on the radiator. And it's nice and simple. I could zip tie these lines together, because on the motor, you have the -20 going to the radiator and the -12, which you could come under here and catch it going to the radiator. So both lines nice and neat right there. Have a coolant overflow or expansion tank over here that I'm about to order. This radiator that I had bought come with some different, aluminum pieces, and we had this. So what I'm gonna do is put that on the top like that, and or maybe angle it, whatever, you get the picture. That's gonna be the radiator cap, so that's gonna be the highest point. Okay, you can see that that's the highest point. So we'll fill the radiator here, and then the overflow to like right here, we'll have an expansion tank that I'm about to order, which will obviously return back into that when it's cooled down. For the venting of the expansion tank, it comes with a second nipple like this. What I'm thinking with that is I'm going to take that line and we're going to shoot that back to the puke tank, okay, for the burn down tubes. That way, if for some reason it ever wants to come out of the expansion tank, it's not going onto the racetrack or going, in front of your tires, that it's going back through a vent line that goes into the puke tank, so everything stays in that tank, and hopefully we don't, have any issues. And then our -20, like I was saying, we'll get a -20 in right here. That will come from up there, but I could put a -12 underneath it, to come from right there. That's what I'm thinking right now. I don't understand why that wouldn't work. My radiator fans, I can't tell y'all right now the specs on it, because I don't want to lie to you. But everything I have read, the specs on that one pulls enough. However, I don't really like it. So I don't like how it's not covering the whole radiator. Basically, I have some wasted real estate between here. So I am thinking about doing something different with this. I just don't quite know what I'm going to do yet. Also thought about going to get some junkyard fans. But the junkyard fans that everybody recommends, I think are off of, I've got it wrote down somewhere, something crazy like a Taurus or some crap that's electric. I've got it wrote down. The CFMs that them fans flow, this one fan flows more, supposedly, than the CFMs that junkyard fan flows. So that's the reason why I was thinking that it's kind of wasting my time to swap it out. But I'm just worried that it's just going to cool right through the center of the radiator and not the whole radiator, even though I do have some foam tape between here, and I have a tiny, tiny, tiny buffer space, between there. But might change that up. Besides that, that's pretty much where I'm at. So I'm still just technical stuff, man. Tons of technical stuff. Moving the radiator, welded my tabs on here. Thank God I didn't finalize this upper bar, because this upper bar unbolts. So once you take the fenders off, grill off, you can take the radiator out the car if you need to, take the intercooler out the car, and then this upper support unbolts, and that leaves nothing at all to the front end of this car except for, the down bar and the front hoop and the motor. So if you ever had to do serious work, all that comes right off. So that's the reason why I didn't finalize this piece, because I knew that it was coming, that it would still might need mounts welded to it and stuff, and it would be coming back off. And I'm guessing we might have to cut these brackets off. That one's not in the way or nothing, but I'm worried. I'm sure Mike's going to tell me that I'm perfectly fine, that he can make it happen. But, we've got to get this -20 in there. So it's really close to the edge right there. Really close to the edge, but I think we can get it. And then I wouldn't have to worry about over here taking off none of this plate, because I was just worried down here about getting that thing, in there. You can see how it's right on the edge. So, it'd be perfect world to go on the end, but I kind of want to keep it on the face in case it does go back in the back of the car. I wanted to leave all of our mounts here. I do need to cut this down for hood clearance, but I'd love to leave that hole here. Love to leave these side brackets on. That way, if I decided I want to put the radiator back in the back of the car, then we already have our AM fittings on the bottom, because the radiator would go like this under the car. And it is angled a little bit, so we'd already have our A fittings in the bottom like it was intended to, not the sides. So I'm really pushing towards, hopefully we can get these things welded up in the, this side, and then it'll work perfect. And then if it ever goes to the back, this will be a higher point. But what we'd probably do then is you'd put a radiator cap on and just leave it on, and then you would move your expansion tank up into the trunk where it's up at a higher elevation. So it'd be kind of universal where the car is already built for it, trunk mount or not, and then all you'd have to do is unbolt it up here, and you would just simply leave these tabs in place. They wouldn't, be an issue or anything, and you could move it to the back if later I wanted to put the weight on the back. All I would have to do is add the lines and put it to the back, and I would be able to leave the water pump there, I'm pretty sure. And the only thing you'd have to change is you would change it to one line that would go to the rear of the car into there, and then one line that comes from the rear car to the water pump. So that's all you'd have to be. Pretty simple change. It's not like the car is not already built for a rear mount radiator. But yeah, that's where we're at. So, comment if you have any more advice, because y'all have just been absolutely freaking amazing so far. And the guys that are here for the comment stuff, stick with me. Hopefully this will help, because as you can see, I have a ton of little stuff to try to sort out now. We're in this weird stage of, there's not going to be a lot to show. This weekend I've already ordered, another $150, $200 worth of just tiny bull crap, man, like fittings, all kinds of stuff. That's the little stuff that I'm dealing with. So that's where we're at. It's Saturday night. That's going to be your quick update, and that's going to be a major thank you to all of y'all. I never knew this channel was going to get like this. I never knew that I would be as thankful for this channel as I am. I'm looking forward to working with y'all in the future. Like I said, every one of y'all that I've met at the racetrack, it's just been an absolute joy to meet all y'all. I try to give back to y'all and help y'all out any way that I possibly can, and give you all the knowledge that I could possibly give you. I've told every single one of y'all, if y'all ever need any help, find a way to get up with me, whether it's Facebook, my business page on Facebook, or or in the comment section. My personal information is Courtney Waller on Facebook. You can look me up on Facebook and add me. You're more than welcome to. Email, if you want to shoot me email, it's going to be crcauto3401 at AOL.com. So crcauto3401 at AOL.com. And I believe that is in my YouTube information for contact information also. That's it. That's going to be the wrap on this. So I'll catch you all on the next one. And I appreciate everything y'all are doing for me. Let me know if you ever need anything. Thanks.